Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Recovery 201, brought to you by Promise Resource Network. The topic for today is resentment. Dun, 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 right? We all can carry resentment around. And to start with the definition, resentment. The feeling of resentment is an intense, multi-layered emotion that has components of anger, bitterness, indignation, sadness, humiliation, and shame attached to it. I didn't know that humiliation and shame thing, right? But I can definitely relate to anger, bitterness, indignation, and sadness, right? So those are the things that define our resentment. And I've got an article here by Analia Havaskova. We'll apologize for butchering that. So when we hold on to resentment, it hurts us, doesn't it? It hurts us. What are some things we can resent?
Ever trying drugs for me. I resent myself for even going down that route, even allowing myself to be vulnerable, to be in a place where I can have that happen to me. So now I understand it had happened, so I can go through and get through it and be in a place like this. Because had I not gone through that, I would even be in an awareness, knowing where the drugs actually was going to lead me. Because it led me to awareness to know that it was the root of the problem, was something that happened way before then. So I was able to delve into that, but it had to happen through that.
So that resentment can be against ourselves, right? And that is real. The things I did that I regret, and the things I didn't do that I regret. Yeah, Patrick. Louder.
When opportunity knocks, not open the door right away.
Yeah.
I mean, because the worst thing that can happen is, you can learn from it if it doesn't go good. When opportunity knocks, take a chance.
Yes.
And you can just learn from it. You know?
That's the key, isn't it? Yes, so we know what not to do next time. You know, the thing it says in here is that while we're weighed down by the burden of indignation, the other person can sit still and go about their business because they're free like a bird. Likely, they're entirely unaware of how much you're angry and resentful. So sometimes people harm us. Right? And that's what causes resentment, that harm against us, that need that's not being met, like for respect, for acceptance, for kindness, right? People can be really ugly. And I got to remember I can be ugly too. Yes, sir.
Is this a part of resentment? Like, let's say somebody cut you off.
Yeah.
But instead of you not trying to vent, but you try to go home, maybe hit the punching bag. You build up. It's the build up.
Yes.
That compound. Now you want to fight the whole world.
Yes.
Or you wake up on the wrong side of the bed. I said that to my dad one day. He said, there's no such item.
Huh.
Oh, I woke up on the wrong side. That means my whole day is going to be sour.
Yeah.
Because
of resentment. But I can choose, can't I?
Right.
See, my bed's up against the wall, so if I roll out on the wrong side of the bed, I hit the wall, so that's legitimate. But when we do roll out of bed in the morning, we make that decision. Am I going to pick this up today? Am I going to pick this up today and carry it? Am I going to continue to do these things, to have these feelings that don't serve me anymore? Yeah.
I sometimes resent myself for having negative thoughts about myself,
Mm-hmm.
and I allow myself to believe things about myself that I know are true, even being defined by what I'm going through, even coming to a place like this is wrong. I know that if this is good for me, I don't care what the rest of the world thinks. I know what I need to survive and be stable, be whole. I can care less now, so I resent myself for caring what other people think of me.
Yes.
I don't care what you think of me. I just want you to respect me like I respect you.
And that's it. We're not getting our needs met, and that's what pisses us
I
off.
think my being silent is a part
Yeah.
of me, my power. It's not. Sometimes me using my voice is what's going to get me heard.
Absolutely.
Speaking up for my community is not my
Ooh,
power.
we're going to get to that, the community resentment. So resentment against society. Hey, Jeremy.
Well, for a while, I've been trying to reach my brother, and he finally got to me yesterday when I was walking from the store, and that was like the first time in a while that he had answered. That was the first time he answered in a while because I've been trying to reach him for about 2 weeks, and I don't know where he's been. He must have been on a vacation, or he must have just wanted to take a break from me for a little while.
Yeah.
But
That hurts, doesn't it?
it,
It does. And that hurt can turn into resentment.
I can already say this though, that when I was texting my mom the other day, I said, you know what, my brothers and these two sisters that had, well, one of them still has the last name I have, and the other one is Mary, and she has a different last name. But when I said, no, Brandon or Josh's place, and I was like, well, what do you think of those sisters? Because I don't consider me being, I don't want to call them my sisters, but my mom sent me a text back saying they are considered your sisters, but they're considered like your half sisters.
What other people can cause us resentment, can't they? When we're not getting our needs met, when we're not being helped, respected, accepted, all those things can affect us and infect us. And remember, the other person probably doesn't even know what's going on. That's the shit right there. That's the shit. Because it's like taking poison and waiting for the other person to die. That's what I always heard. We take this resentment, and I think I'm hurting someone else, but all I'm doing is hurting myself. All I'm doing is hurting myself. It says the feeling of resentment is an intense, multi-layered emotion that has components of anger, bitterness, indignation, sadness, humiliation, shame. In general terms, it arises when a person feels they've been treated unfairly or in a way that is devaluing, disrespecting, or dismissed from the identity or perspective. When somebody looks at me in a way that I'm not, right? When somebody looks at me in a way that maybe they appear to think that I'm less than, and that can really affect me. Injustice, right? Injustice. That gets me. That's what gets me. So when we're talking about these what else do we resent? People, ourselves.
Society sometimes.
Absolutely. What else do we resent? Society, labels, stigma, different people who come at us in a way that is uncalled for, is completely and totally uncalled for.
I resent for the system. I know I'm a part of it, and I need to utilize it because it's beneficial to me. But I resent it only sees me as a number, not as a person. And I need it, so I have to learn how to utilize it when I need it, and I have to use my voice within the system and be an advocate to let you know. I will speak up, let you know what I do and don't want, and let you know. No, it's something that, no, I will be heard. You will see me as a person, but it's up to me to be an advocate.
Absolutely. We've got to take up for ourselves. We've got to take up for ourselves. Yes, sir.
It's not
Oh.
gonna get anything done. That's not gonna get anything done. That's I say activist is something who does action. So activist.
That resentment can be used. That resentment, if I lessen it, if I can figure out how to use that energy, it can be a positive thing. Yes, Alec.
I just went through that, so listening to what you just said, listening to what you're saying, resentment, for the lack of adequate medical treatment that I feel that I'm getting now.
Mm-hmm.
Oak Street Hill, I called, I complained.
Mm-hmm.
I was very assertive and forward. And I'm expecting it will get good result. But I've had to do that before, complain numerous times, and finally, and then there's another, lack of treatment. So I'm getting much better at complaining and advocating for myself.
Advocating, that's the key word. There you
Advocating.
go.
No one else is going to advocate for me. You know,
Yeah, we got to take care of ourselves. And when other people can't hear us or can't see us and our needs, it pisses us off.
Sometimes we can go to the wrong people.
Oh yeah, that's it. When I have a complaint, when I'm advocating for myself, whether it's a doctor, a company, a service, the system, whatever it is, I want to be able to be assertive and speak in a way that I can be heard, right? When I'm full of resentment, I tend to show out because I simmer. I was talking about a situation this weekend that I've been simmering about, this person in my life that's harming other people in my life. And, they said, well, come on down for this. And I said, listen, I can either stay home or go to jail. That shit simmers. See, and I know myself enough that I can say, this is unacceptable right now. I can't be in that space. If I am that angry, I don't need to set myself up for resentment. I don't need to set myself up for, not destruction, but things not to go my way. All right. It says that resentment creates a toxic mind-body cycle. Ruminating over the feelings of resentment and the interaction that brought about it can flood our brain with stress hormones that make us more susceptible to negative thoughts. It changes our body, doesn't it? That stress from the resentment that I'm carrying around, right? And resentment can be heavy. Resentment can be very heavy, and it can affect our entire life, mind, body, spirit. All of that can be affected and infected. And that stress promotes negative thought, right? If I'm already in that space of, man, they pissed me off, I can run with that.
I can't be living in resentment and be living in gratitude at the same time. So sometimes I have to.
That's the last one. Hold on. You always jump ahead, Porty. It's like you read my stuff. Yeah, okay. You're the author. Here's one that you were talking about. Because of the ways in which society has historically mistreated people in minority groups, including people of certain color, class, sexual orientation, ability, and religion, it's very possible to feel resentment towards that system. Society.
Well, even when I talk about mental health, I'm like, but when we talk about this, we doing these classes right here, I get resentment from people who don't care. I said, it's not I can just show you what it's done for me. I can't make you come up here. Mental health is very important for me. I know how important it is for the world. I can't make them see it. I want them to, and I was in the world for not knowing how important it is.
Yeah. That stigma that we go through, and the fact that we have priorities that are important to us. And when somebody takes that away, when somebody's priority is not similar to ours, being in respect or love, it just doesn't work. It doesn't work for us. It doesn't work for them. And again, I carry that. I carry that every day. And it's up to me. It's up to me to figure this out.
Do something with it.
Yeah, do something with
Do
it.
something, it should be a signal, that something that's bothering you. So what can you do? Maybe you can complain about it, and you can find something that will change it, or utilize that, whatever that is, to empower yourself. Create music. Sometimes people music, and that's how they get it out. Like, what's going on by Marvin Gaye? He had resentment for how the world was. He made a song, and it conveyed the message, and he didn't have to get angry about it.
Yeah.
Something that we still can listen to today, still get that message, and it's
Yeah.
inspiring to us. And then make people aware, like, oh, this is what I see in the world. This is what I think that can change.
You are right on time, because it says we were told that being resentful is bad. And then we start to regard ourselves as bad too. When we carry this feeling, which is just intensified the grudge we're holding even further. Instead of considering viewing our initial resentment as negative, think of it as a helpful friend. It's there to tell you that something is not all right and needs improvement within the relationship. Just like anger, right? We said anger can be used in a positive way or a negative way, right? I'll tell you a quick story, okay? When I was in a 12-step group, and this was awful. It rarely happens this way. But I went to pick up my 90-day chip. I was so excited. And I get up there, and the lady that was giving out the chips looked at me and looked at the crowd and said, if I got to give you a white chip, meaning I'd have to start over, if I've got to give you a white chip, I'm going to shove it up your ass. Now, that is a nice thing to say. Love and tolerance is our cold my ass. So, I know. It is, and right in front of the crowd. And I got so resentful. I used that incident to keep myself sober. During that year when I wanted to drink so bad, I would see her face. And I would go, oh, hell no. Hell no, I'm not giving her the satisfaction. See, and we can use that, even though it can be negative, we can use that to cause change, right? We can use that to cause change if I can maneuver it in a way that can help me. Did you have something, Alan?
What?
Oh, I thought you had your hand
I
up.
wanted to ask you, what was the name of Marvin Gaye's song?
What's going on? What's going on?
Uh-huh.
I think I remember it.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Now, look, I was just this. Now, like I said, back in the days when we all grew up, you can go to a mall. But nowadays, you might go there and you might not come back.
Yeah.
Ride the subway, the transit, or what, you might not come home.
That resentment of the world not being safe anymore is legitimate, isn't it? It's scary. It's scary.
People say, oh, I don't care about that.
And you know what's under anger? Fear. Fear is always under anger.
Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech came from. He resented how the world was happening. So that speech is still powerful today. Today.
Absolutely.
He said what he wanted to happen, even if it hasn't happened, he still sees it and wants it. And see it, and that can still happen.
Yes.
So we all want all of us to be created equal. If it's not happening today, at least you can hope for it. He said, get you something to strive for.
Yes.
You don't have to be satisfied with what we already have right now. If you're not happy with it, you don't have to resent it, but you can try to change it.
Absolutely. To use that energy to try to change things.
That's the protesting.
Yeah. Protesting, writing letters to your congressman, making phone calls, becoming part of the solution. Yeah.
Writing, I think that's a way of resenting, but I don't think that is beneficial.
No.
Because it's only destructive. That's destructive.
Yeah.
Like,
We choose, don't we? We would choose how to express our resentment.
You can destroy your own community by being resentful of how it is, then that's what you're left with. So we have to know that this is what we have. But
Yeah.
what do we eventually want? We want freedom. We all want this place to be nice. And
Yep.
we want hate. We have to know what you want. Even know what your emotion, what your intellect.
Yes.
What do we eventually want? What's the end
What's
goal?
my need?
What's the end goal?
Yes.
What do you want out of this?
Yes. And we can use resentment. See, that just that word throws me. Resentment. I understand anger can be used, but resentment is kind of,
Because
makes me.
it sounds so we use it in a negative way.
Yes.
We don't use it in a positive way. We don't
Yes.
use it that it can be used in a positive way. But now we know
Yeah.
that's where it all comes from. That's the root for protesting. That's the way we are now because we resented things how we were. If we're not happy with where we are, we resent it. Or we can change it. But that's what the initial feeling you see is resentment. Oh, I don't want to kind of resent how I'm treated. But not like you get a whole bunch of people who feel the same way, and you have a collective now, you have a conversation about what can we all do.
Things are not the way they should be.
No.
Things are not, and I think COVID made that worse. And it's easy. I think in so many ways, the world is divided now. Where some groups are seeking one thing, some groups are seeking another thing, and it just feels like we resent each other so badly,
We
right?
don't hear each other.
We don't hear each other. We don't see each other. We disrespect each other. We put those memes on Facebook. We say those things, Uncle Larry, at Thanksgiving, and it comes out in that resentment of, you're doing wrong. You're not giving me what I need.
It's like that rioting. It's not constructive. You
No.
angry and you like, I hate you on social media. It's
Mhm.
not done anything. You complain about, because people complain about something. What is that going to do?
Yeah.
Who has a solution?
Yeah. The difference, what Alan was saying between advocating and complaining. Complaining is just going on about what's wrong. Advocating, part of advocating is having options and knowing a possible solution. Your solution was to get the care you needed. And they needed to do this, this, and this. And when you advocate, when you spoke assertively instead of aggressively, right? Because the louder we get, the less people hear us. So you began to speak assertively, expressing what your needs were, expressing a potential solution to that. Yes, sir.
And I find I have to be very mindful of raising my voice. I'm getting too angry.
Yes.
And shouting. I have to be mindful. Sometimes I have to just, and I might even say, "Oh, excuse me, I had trouble hearing you," and
Yeah.
so they don't think I'm being rude, and then we get back to a normal level conversation.
Yeah. And that's when our needs are met. When I can get the other person to help me because they got what I need, right? They got what I need, not vice versa. So I need to come to this person respectfully, assertively, and I'm just going to say it kindly. We all have our burden to bear, don't we?
Even like with police officers, like I never see them as a threat because I know when I need emergency, I'm going to call them. So I don't resent you for doing your job. I need to have conversations so you can see me as a person. I can see you as a person. Because when you take out that uniform, you just like me.
Yeah.
I want freedom. You want help.
Yeah.
The same thing. And I can't judge you for doing your job because I know you're in a part of the system.
Yeah.
It's controlling you. Like I'm in the system. We don't always have a control. We do have a voice.
Mm-hmm.
We do have a choice and voice. So you can't choose to do the right thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Even within the system, you're exactly right.
Integrity.
Integrity. We at PRN assist in the CIT program, which is a program for police officers to learn more about those of us that have difficulties, that have challenges. And we talk about mental health, we talk about substance use, we talk about intellectual developmental disabilities, we talk about those kind of things with this group so they'll understand better, right? When people see us, I always tell I tell everybody that comes here, when you walk on property, you are guaranteed acceptance, respect, and love. And I told those officers, you too are going to get acceptance, respect, and love, right? If I give it, I get it.
You
If
don't get it.
If I give resentment, I get it. If I get ugly, I'm not going to get what I want, and I'm just going to keep harboring this. Yes, Jerry.
Well, just like I don't believe teachers deserve a rating.
Yep.
And I actually did see it on my phone, but, going back to when you're talking about acceptance and love for the police officers, they're just as human as we are.
Yeah. And that's it. When we see each other as people, there is no right, wrong, left, right, black, white. It's about being part of humanity. It's about being able to be seen and heard.
They can even be at what Food Line or Harris Teeter shopping and they're probably not in uniform.
Yeah.
And you don't know it. And
They're just folks.
yeah.
Yeah. Did you ever see your teacher when you were a kid and you saw your teacher somewhere out of the classroom and you were like, I didn't know you left. I thought you stayed in the classroom. What are you doing at the grocery store? Yes, sir.
Well, it was just recently, one was shit up in Minnesota or Wisconsin or something. And see, now when the police tell you to stop, I know they ain't always right. They hit me just like you up. Stop. I've been stopped by the law. I've been stopped in Iowa. I've been stopped in Virginia. And Virginia is worse out by the way. You just stop there. I guarantee you, you're going to get knocked out. I was doing wrong. I broke the law with speed. But when the man told me to stop, that's what that means.
Okay,
I'm gonna keep going and then stop.
another thing we need to look at. Do I have a part in this? Ooh, do I have a part in this? Am I intensifying this resentment by being aggressive? Am I doing things that may cause that person to think a certain way about me? If I go outside, I can talk all kinds of good stuff in here, but if I go outside to the smoking table and I start gossiping, I'm going to be a gossiper. Right? And I can look at my part in that and shift, like we said, with the energy. I can decide that there's something in me I'm not satisfied with, that I have something going on that intensifies this resentment. How can I get rid of it? I got to look at myself. I got to look at my part, be compassionate with myself as well, but understand other people have their difficulties. Pamela says, no worries being late, sweetheart. Good morning, everybody. Oh, crap, I lost it.
Is it important to understand what behind the why of your resentment? What is making me resent what I'm resenting?
That's exactly what I was going. Thank you, Porter. God, what would I do without you? Let me give you some cat. Resenting others. Crap, I forgot it again. What did you say? The why behind the what? Absolutely. Other people have a reason to act the way they do, the same way I've got a reason. What? To show my ass sometimes is based on my triggers. It's still not good. Resentment still harms me, but there's a reason for it. I always tell my story about my friend that, she says, you say the phrase sweet pea. Nice southern phrase, sweet pea. Well, I was talking to her one day and I said, oh, sweet pea, don't worry about it. And her face turned red and her fist clenched. And she told me how I was not to call her a sweet pea. Well, I waited till she calmed. It was very unusual for her to act that way. So I knew something was going on. And when she calmed down, I asked her later, what happened? And she said someone who hurt her when she was a kid called her sweet pea. That simple word took her to a place. you got your chocolate and my peanut butter. We bounce off each other, right? My triggers against your triggers, and sometimes we bump into each other, and that's where the resentment
But see,
starts.
she's been holding that in.
Yeah,
That's been in her.
Yeah.
It's still in her. You know what I mean? It's just like people have phobias and different things.
Mhm.
Some can't go in closets, some can't ride in elevators or
Mhm.
phobias. I don't know there's a word for it. I got a phobia for needles. I see needles.
oh yeah,
I go haywire.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's that tiny or that big. I just have a phobia.
yeah. That's it. And the resentment causes these things. Resentment can build up, like you said.
Like you said,
and I'm still holding it.
in her, and
Yeah.
She's still remembering. I mean,
Yeah.
Let go. Let go.
Ooh,
That was way back.
that was way back. If only.
Yeah.
If only I could just let go.
And sometimes you have to make my own life's terms. You can't control everything. You have to figure out what is in my power. And do I actually have the ability to change what I'm resenting?
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm trying to think of things too hard. I want to change global warming. You can't resent those things. What can I do on my part?
Yeah.
Help it out. I may not be able to change it, but I can maybe do my part in it. I may not be able to change the system, but what can I do in helping get out? Helping other people be aware of places like this.
Mhm.
I can inform people, give them the education, there are other options. We have more tools, chances are you won't resent things.
Yeah.
Not like I'm helpless not resenting something like that. There's no other option. We have to have these things where, no, I have the options, I have a choice not to resent.
Yeah.
I'll let it go. Like you said, just let it go. Sometimes
But
it's
to-
worth it.
But to use, absolutely. But sometimes it is worth it, isn't it? And we got to stand up.
Yeah, is this really worth it for me? What power do I have in this? Is
Yeah.
it worth my time?
That's it. Time.
Resenting something that happened on third grade. Come on, you have to let go of certain things.
Time. But time takes time, right? Time does take time. But when we do hold on to those things, it causes, like I said, it can cause a sickness in us from the stress. When I am when I'm holding on to this powerful negative thing, remember it causes stress. Stress, we know, causes anxiety, depression, sleeplessness, but it also causes heart disease and cancer and diabetes and all those kind of things. Pamela's on a roll. Plus, if you let others have that kind of power over you, you give them more power. Take the power away.
Moving forward, I want to like anything to keep me in a place that I can move forward. I want to move forward. Nothing is going to tether me to my past. I have to learn from it. I can take the lesson that's not harmful to me. But if I'm holding on to something that I can't control, I want to move forward. I want to live my life. Some things I have not control. I give it to God. What can He help me do? Sometimes it's up to Him, not to me.
Yep, we've got to use our resources. We've got to use our support network. Pamela says it's like a cancer. It eats away at who we're meant to be.
Yeah.
Oh, it eats away at who we're meant to be. I'll tell you a gross story. Some of you have heard it many times. I used to work with kids that were very challenged physically. And some of them had this condition that they would ruminate, meaning you would feed them, they would chew it, they would swallow it, but they would bring it up again. And they would chew it and they would swallow it and they'd bring it up again. And every time it went up and down, it got more acid in it. That's what resentment's like. Something happens to me, I swallow it. Sweet pea, I swallow it. Disrespect, I swallow it. People not seeing me, hearing me, and I swallow it. And it hits my gut. And then I bring it back up. Somebody says something, triggers that. I think about that. Okay, I swallow it again. It gets deeper and deeper, doesn't it? And that kind of motion eats away at our insides. I love how you said that. It's like cancer. It eats away who we are meant to be. I can have resentment stop my life purpose just because I'm in the throes of it and I can't see anything else. But that can't.
I can't be at peace and be resentment.
Yeah.
I can have all the things I want in the world and still resent the fact that I don't have this one thing. No. I want to be at peace with whatever I have and don't have. I need to be accept whatever I do and don't have. Maybe know this is where God wants to use me.
Yes.
He used me broken space. I have to be perfect to be a vessel to help other people.
Yeah.
I'm helping you, I can't be resentful.
To be able to use that power to do something good, to be able to be of service. Absolutely. It says here, another way we can get out of resentment is to talk it out. I recommend to people that they should attempt to find resolution when holding on to resentment, which can often come through having an open, honest conversation with the individual who hurt us. Talking about what happened in clear terms, acknowledging the role that they and that I have played in creating this interaction, underlying resentment. Giving a voice to all the feelings that come up as a result. Being clear, like we were talking about, Alan. Being assertive, being clear about what you need. Speaking in a way that is respectful to the other person. Because remember, they got what I want. I want to speak to them in a way that they're more likely to get on my side. Right? So when I talk it out, when I go to someone, and when I can tell them exactly what I resent. Okay. It always throws me. That's my, I resent that too. That's Alexa. Here's a good one. Step into the other person's shoes. That's that why behind the what. Everybody is suffering from something. There is not, I truly believe, that there is not a soul in the world that doesn't harbor some kind of pain. You get your chocolate in my peanut butter. We have these big circles and we bump into each other. And that's where that resentment starts. Something in me shifts as a result of talking to you. Something in me makes me feel a way that I'm not comfortable with, right? But if I can look at the other person and go, they probably got some shit too. That why behind the what. If I can look with compassion, I am more likely to get the understanding that that other person has needs too, right? Compassion is critical. Compassion can cut through resentment pretty quickly. So allowing ourselves to understand a little better, to have some compassion, to have some love for another human being. The last one is the most important one. We've kind of hit on this a little bit. Carving out time to embrace gratitude for people, things, and scenarios in our lives towards which we don't hold resentment can shift our outlook. Making things you do resent seem less significant as a result. Not to mention, gratitude has its own share of mood-boosting, stress-melting effects. Gratitude is amazing. If I can find something, someone comes at me, they say something, they do something. If I can see something good in them, even if it's just something little, that can shift how I'm thinking. If I can find the good in this situation, if I can find how I can use my power to shift things and change things, it's worth it. It's worth it. Pamela says, to have an honest talk with yourself, my responsibility to the challenges. And she says, woohoo, this hits deep. Thanks for the reminder. This does hit deep, doesn't it? Resentment is a deep, deep feeling. And as long as we carry it, it will make us sick. It will make us sick. So I have a choice today. What am I going to do? How am I going to approach this? How am I going to do something different today? Because I'm tired of being sick. I'm tired of being sick with this resentment. All right. Any last words about resentment? When I can approach things in a different way, sometimes my resentment lessens. But I've got to get it out. I've got to be able to speak in a way that can affect me in a positive way. Excuse me.
You're not doing things in the moment out loud and thinking
Yeah.
I had that conversation as soon as possible. Out loud for all year. Like, oh, you remember what you said last year?
Yeah.
No. I'm saying we have a conversation maybe in a moment, or just I'm with my doctor. I need a conversation with you. Now, if I'm not a doctor, I can present you now.
Yeah.
Go to another person.
If I don't get what I need from Food Line, I go to Buy Low. That's how services work. We are being served, not vice versa. If I go to an agency, and this is system things, right? This is society things. If I go to an agency or a plumber or whatever, and they don't meet my need, I can resent that. And I can just, complain about it, cuss about it. They didn't do this. Or I can do something about it. I can get on the Better Business Bureau and talk to them. I can go to their page and give an honest understanding. Absolutely. But to say what's wrong with it so as not to hold that in.
You can resent a church, you can find another church. You can't complain about that church. We have this to go. It's up to you to take responsibility. But you have the choice to find out things about options and choices today. Pamela, approach with gratitude, healing you and others. I like that. I think we'll end on that. Healing us and others. Go ahead.
Like you said, you can't get service on one place. I know you probably like Harris Teeter Public Space. They never out of nothing. I'm gonna tell you.
I know they got some peanut butter Oreos, don't
They
they?
don't run out of nothing.
Yes.
I like diligence. I like the love that they have. There's people in the house to help you.
Yeah. I'm getting my needs met.
You get your needs met.
And then I don't resentment. That's like those.
Wherever I go, I don't care if I'm buying a piece of bubble gum. You know what I mean?
That's like those where you buy wood and tools and those places. Somebody walks around with a little board all day going, "I'll be right back." I'll be right back. I'll be right back, and they never come back. That can cause resentment. All right, let me say it one more time. Approach with gratitude, healing you and others. I like that. Let me tell you real quick about our warm line. It is warm. Let me find it. Here we go. Warm line. It is a 24/7, 365 call away from somebody that can help, somebody that has resources, and somebody that knows how to listen. We can hear you when you call us. We can help in helping link you to different services or information that can help. Call us. We're here no matter what's going on. If you need to talk, we're here to listen. One more thing. We have a survey that we would really like for you to take. It will tell us what we're doing well and what we need to change. And that's really important to us because we want to provide a very good product here at PRN, which is acceptance, love, and respect. Right, that's our product. So go to our website, www.promiseresourcenetwork.org. Take our survey. If you go down the line, it says, take a survey. Take a survey. Hit that button and help us out. It's a good way to keep us going in the right direction so we can help other people. Right? I'm going to let y'all go. Keep peace, share love, and have a good Tuesday.